Way out in the tundras of Manitoba, a Canadian province, is Polar Bear Jail. That's its actual name, Polar Bear Jail, which is exactly what it sounds like, a holding facility designed to hold polar bears. Although unlike many human holding facilities, this one is actually quite humane. Let me explain. The Polar Bear Jail is located in the small town of Churchill. Nobody knows exactly how many polar bears there are in the region. They're extremely difficult to count, being able to swim vast distances in icy water, dig into dens, and camouflage themselves with the white Arctic landscape. In fact, the Polar Bear Specialist Group, an international organization dedicated to learning more about the animal, estimates that less than half of the polar bear population counts are actually accurate. But we do know that of late, polar bear sightings have gone up drastically, mostly due to climate change. With the weather steadily warming up, the sea ice the polar bear relies on to hunt is forming later in the year and breaking apart earlier in the spring. Or in other words, the polar bears are losing their hunting grounds, which has forced the polar bears to search for a new source of food. This is where humans come in. Of late, Arctic tourism has gone up, and this has led to the polar bear's new source of food. No, the new source of food isn't humans. The Polar Bear Jail isn't holding polar bears who have killed human tourists. The new source of food is the trash that we leave behind. You folks all know the "please do not feed the wild animals" signs that outside of parks. Part of the reason for those signs is that the general population doesn't know what foods certain species can and cannot eat. Think of how much it would suck if you accidentally fed your neighbor's dog a chocolate bar, for example. But the bigger issue of feeding wild animals is that they come to associate human beings with food. And when wild animals learn that human beings can provide them with food, they become a whole lot less cautious around us. They start approaching us more freely, which is cute when it's a cozy little rodent like the squirrel, but it's decidedly less cute when it's a giant carnivorous polar bear that's poking around looking for free food. We'll tend to get pretty nervous when an apex predator starts asking us for scraps, which is particularly problematic when the frightened human in question also happens to be armed. Because
when motherfuckers get scared, that's when motherfuckers accidentally get shot.
This is where the Polar Bear Geohouse comes in. Simply put, it's used to hold polar bears who have grown a little bit too friendly around human presence. By disassociating human beings with free food, it lessens the chances of a human getting freaked out and turning trigger happy, winding up with a dead polar bear. Because if there's one thing I know about this world, it's that we definitely do not need another dead polar bear.